Hello student, I'm Mr. Vũ Anh Tuấn, but actually you guys can call me VAT, and welcome all to the course I Can Speak. Thank you so much for joining today's lecture with me. We are getting to know each other from the first lecture, not only about myself, but also about my passion for public speaking and debate. So I hope that you guys will all enjoy the lecture today. We are going to talk about the method to build up a speech. We are not only learning how to think of ideas for a topic. I want you guys to basically know how to make these ideas become brilliant. And I also want you guys to know how to make the very logical, which may sound boring, become attractive with the audience. What does an outstanding speaker look like? You can imagine a person standing before 1,000 people and using a lot of skills in their speech. They know what to say, how to catch the audience's attention, and how to manage the stage. It requires a lot of practice and more advanced skill. We are not trying to reach that level today. The things that I want you to get today are the very basic skill. But this skill are applicable for all cases. And this is the very small things, but you can train it every day and the results will be worth it. So 2 things I will gonna tell you today. Firstly, the opening line, which is the skill to catch up with everyone in the hall in just 1 sentence. By this 1 sentence, everyone will be very impressed with you by both style and the messages. However, having a good catch-up is not enough. It will only be effective in about 2 to 3 minutes, while the speech will usually be in 20 to 30 minutes. So how to keep the audience stay in the next 27 minutes is all about because of 2 things that I want you to understand how to develop an idea. Idea development is another important part to make your speech logical and interesting. So audiences will not just be impressed by your opening, but they will be fascinated by the rest of your speech. Alright, let's talk about opening line. The first requirement of opening line is it has to be short and concise. Just imagine if you just say a very long sentence. Take all of your first 3 minutes. The only thing audience will remember about you is this guy is so prolix and easily feels sleepy, although you have just only speak in 3 minutes. Short sentences will catch people's attention, reveal the main idea of your speech, and set a tone of your speech to hit their sleepy mind to focus on your speech. That is why opening line is important. So you can see, being short and concise is not the only requirement for a good opening line. There's no fixed standard of a good opening line, but making an opening line is a lot based on your own character. If you are gentle, you will have a gentle, deep, and emotional opening line. On the opposite side, if you're confident and very strong, a very confident opening line will make the audience excited and hype the atmosphere. Although that, the key style of making an opening line, you should always remember good style and rhetoric. 2 secrets that I will give you: impressive and potential to be a good chant. However, remember, even if you want to make your speech interesting, please be mindful that the opening line should still be relevant and related to your ideas. I will now give you 2 examples by Đức Hùng, top 4 of Asian English Olympic 2018.
Hello everyone, I'm so happy to be here today talking about why large corporations should be held accountable for the environment degradation instead of the responsibility of individuals. The vanish of rainforest, the melting polar caps, the highly polluted air quality, Just when will this nightmare end for Mother Nature, and how much more do vulnerable groups of people and animals have to suffer only to satisfy the profit-driven companies?
As you can see, the first speaker has a formal way to present his idea. The second could present the same idea with his fun character. Both of these opening lines are great since it could show your characteristic, main idea, and attract audiences. Also, I want to tell you some way to make a good opening line. The first way to make an opening line is by telling a story. By telling a story, you show audiences an example of what you plan to say throughout your speech. The second way of a good opening line is by quoting someone famous. You can choose to alter the quote if it's necessary to fit the situation. I will now give you another two examples by Dick Hung.
As Benjamin Franklin, the wise man himself, once said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Education, indeed, does require costly resources, but those who invest their resources often end up richer, not just because they often improve their financial situation, but because their minds are richer too. Let me tell you a story about the champions of the road to Olympia. These are the smartest, the most prestigious students from all over Vietnam. They have become professors, researchers that all contribute to the world. But most importantly, they have made the name of Vietnam well known to the global community.
Besides the above two, there are many other ways to create a good opening line. As long as you remember the motto, there is no second chance to make the first impression, then you can create a good opening line for your speech. Now, let's come to the second part of our lesson about idea development. One of the most important things in public speaking is turning your ideas into speech. Today, I will teach you a basic model which will help you further in extending your idea, the CRET model. Firstly, C stands for claim. You always need to start giving your audience the broad idea of what your speech is about. The claim should shortly mention what you will say in this speech. And you may ask, what does R stand for? R is not rebuttal, as you may think, but R stands for reasoning. Every idea needs explanation. This will help your idea sound more lively and convincing. Thirdly, E stands for evidence. This is when you need to work on your research, giving the audience a realistic aspect of your idea. Number, event, story, even your personal story. Tell me the example to support your reasoning to make it realistic. Lastly, T stands for tie back. We cannot end our idea without stating the importance of it. You have to answer the question, why these ideas matters to the listeners. Let's take a look at Phan Yên Minh, the top best high school speaker of Vietnam in 2019, make a speech about Disney princesses.
I believe that Disney princesses are harmful, especially to children, because they teach students to not be independent. Obstacles are necessary for a person to grow because you will learn and improve significantly after failing. Consequently, when we face obstacles, we need to actively find solutions by ourselves to overcome those. It is just like when you failed a test, you will need to study hard and retake it rather than simply crying. Similarly, Disney princesses also need to be able to overcome the challenges that they face. However, when they face obstacles, instead of finding the solutions by themselves to solve the problems, they cried and waited miracles to happen or prince to come and rescue them. For instance, Cinderella cried out for help from the fairy godmother when she was unable to go to court with her cousins, making herself dependent and inactive in being responsible for her life. In conclusion, this teaches the children to be inactive and dependent on other people when having a crisis.
We can see in this speech, Yinming has used a very good technique in building her argument. She used various explanations to prove her point to give audiences intellectual satisfaction. For example, her point is that princesses are very harmful to children. Her reasoning consists of two ideas, which are students need to learn how to face obstacles, and princesses teach students to just wait for miracle, and she uses Cinderella as an example. What makes this argument strong is because Yinming explained in reasoning part to answer two important questions. Why is her claim true, and why is her claim important? She proved that Disney princesses teach students to not be independent, and she showed us why it makes young people harder to face challenges in their life. Also, here's another example from Yinming about Facebook.
I believe that social media connects humans from all around the world. Traditionally, people who live in different places around the world have to use letters to communicate with each other, which is expensive and time-consuming. Social media uses internet to connect people, so it is fast and less expensive by firstly creating a platform that allows users to share pictures and thoughts of their daily lives, enabling the ability to communicate and meet virtually without having to fly to catch up with another. For example, Facebook allows people to share videos, pictures, and those will appear on newsfeed, so all your friends will know what is currently happening in your life. In conclusion, social media allows people to talk and catch up without having to pay money for airplane tickets or wait for the letters to arrive.
We can see in this second speech, Yinming used more statistics and examples to make her point more realistic. We can see how Facebook be useful by looking at her examples. Those examples are persuasive because it is realistic and easy for everyone to understand. In conclusion, both examples and reasoning can help you prove your point to make it persuasive to audiences. And to have good reasoning, you should focus on two things like Yinming just did. Why is your claim true, and why is your claim significant? And remember to use real examples which are popular so everyone can easily understand it. And to revise this second part, let's have a quiz about CRET. That is for the lesson number 2. I hope this lesson gives you the fundamental knowledge about opening line and CRET format, so you can know how to create a good speech based on that. If you want to know about details of how to make a good reasoning, wait for the next lesson about 5W and 1H. Don't forget to check the homework section below and practice it with friends in your free time. I bet it will help you improve a lot. Bye bye and see you later.